Hi guys, everything okay? Let's continue that class, Unit 12A. You know that you have pages 92 and 93. But now we are going to focus a little more details, a little more specific, the grammar point. And the grammar point here is really important because it deals with a verb tense we are not used to using very much, which is the past perfect. Yes? Remember the story I told you about the four situations in Australia, in England, in Sweden, and in the US? You have those texts in your book, you have those texts in the supporting activities, if necessary, in your platform. And in the texts, there were some examples of past perfect. I'm just going to write one of them here so you can understand better what we are talking about. Pay attention here. The wave had carried the shark into the pool. What do you have there? You are telling the story. We know the story about the shark. The shark was in the pool and nobody knew how that shark had come into the pool. How the shark had come into the pool. That's the past perfect. So we have here, the wave had carried the shark into the pool. Because this situation here happened before they realized there was a shark in the pool. So this action happened first. And the action that happens first is our topic of today, past perfect. Okay? So that's the example I can tell you from the book, from the text. Because now we're going to see more broad, more wide details of that situation. Yep. So what's the structure? Take a look. The structure is straightforward. It's very simple. Past perfect. You always need had plus participle. That's the idea. So that's the structure you are going to see, you are going to follow in all the verb tenses, in all the expressions that deal with past perfect. Had plus participle. Now let's put that in a more practical example. When I arrived. Forget past perfect for now. I'm going to talk about a simple past example. When I arrived, my mom left. Okay, so this is not past perfect yet. Forget the past perfect. When I arrived, my mom left. What do you have here? You have simple past. Why is that simple past? Pay attention here. You have one action in the past and we have another action also in the past. So if you think about the sequence of events, first I arrived and then my mother left. So one action happened after the other one. You have two situations in the simple past. Let's change a little more. Now you have there, when I arrived, my mom was leaving. What do you have now? My mom was leaving. See what? She was in the middle of that situation. That's why we have here the past continuous, because she was leaving. It was happening. That's the point. The situation was happening. What is the idea of the past continuous? One action was in progress and was interrupted by another action. So what you have here is past continuous interrupted by the simple past. Yeah? But why did I tell you all these tenses if they are not the focus of our class today? Because the focus is really important to have the sequence of events. Now I'm going to show you the past perfect. When I arrived, my mom had left. And then pay attention to the events, guys, to the sequence. What happened first? I arrived first or my mom left first? That's the point. My mom left first and then I arrived, okay? So I arrived after my mom had left, and that should be the main idea of the past perfect. That's why I always tell my students that how do you use past perfect? Past perfect is the past before the past. Always. It's one action that happened earlier to another action. This is past perfect. When I arrived, my mom had left. Yep. I also like to give you an example from a historical situation, from a world event. This is really good for you to identify points in our history that happened in the same year, but to understand which happened first, which happened second. So take a look at this example. I'm sure none of you were born in 1994. I can tell you that in 1994, I was 17 years old already. And that year, two important events happened for our country in Brazil or related to Brazil. So take a look here. Senna, you know, Ayrton Senna, the biggest race driver we have ever had. So Senna unfortunately died in May 94. On the 1st of May 1994, it was the Labor Day and Senna crashed his car and he died. The same year, but in July 94, we had another situation. That's a very good one. Brazil won the World Cup. So Brazil won the World Cup in July 94 and Senna died in May 94. You can see that both events happened in the same year. But what we want now? We want to talk about both events in the same sentence. That's when we have the past perfect. So I'm going to write here. When Brazil won the World Cup, Senna had died. Yeah, and that's what you have when we talked about sequence of events. So Senna died first, Brazil won in second. Senna died before Brazil won, and here we have the past perfect. To make it easier, some people or some books or some texts we have include a word here that's very common, the word already. What is the indication of already here? Because he did the action. Senna had already died when Brazil won the World Cup. And you notice that the order doesn't matter. You can start with the past perfect or you can start with the simple past. What's important is to identify what happened first. And what happened first goes in the past perfect. Yes, that's it, guys. The structure is that. The exercises are available for you there on pages 149. So take a look there. I'm just going to do one exercise with you so you can check how you will be able to do that. On page 149, this will be available in the platform as well. You have there, match the sentence halves. So you have two parts of sentences and you need to match them. Look at the example. I couldn't get into my house because. And the words that will complete the sentence are because I had lost my key. I lost my key before being able to enter the house. So that's the idea. Just one more. When our friends arrived, simple like that one we did earlier. When our friends arrived, the continuation would be we hadn't finished cooking the dinner because we didn't finish the dinner before the friends arrived. That's the structure, past perfect and simple past. Yes? And once you do the exercises on page 149, then you will return to the grammar and to the unit on page 93, and there will be an exercise for you to use your imagination. Then you are going to complete the sentences with your own ideas. Just to give an example about my personal life, I could say, when I got to the check-in desk, I suddenly realized. What did you realize when you got to the check-in desk? I realized I had forgotten my passport. Imagine how disastrous that would be. So I forgot my passport before I got into the check-in desk. Okay, guys? Past perfect here. Do the exercises, do the questionnaire, and we'll talk again in our synchronized live class. Bye-bye. See you.